welcome to Yoga Zone. I'm Jean Kerner. With me today is Douglas Stewart, and we're on the beach at the Gran Lido Sans Souci in sunny Jamaica. The thought of starting a yoga routine may seem intimidating if you've become stiff over the years, but this is why yoga is for you. And with regular practice, your body will begin to open out, becoming more flexible, and you'll feel incredibly free. So let's get started with some poses that'll keep you flexible for a lifetime. Take your legs open to the sides. And from here, we'll just take a moment to set up. So reach back and pull the fleshy part of your butt back on each side, and actually do this so that you'll really feel those two bones at the bottom of your butt, your sit bones, pressing into the floor. Make sure that your feet are not spiraling in or open, and if you find it difficult to keep length in your spine because you're more rounded and tighter in your hips, then bend your knees if you need to so that you can really feel length. Eventually, the backs of your legs will begin to open. From here, we're properly set up, so we'll come into a twist. As you breathe in, feeling this length in your spine, begin to come into a twist to the right. So you take your right hand behind you and the left hand into the center of your legs. Your legs and your feet are creating a base. As you breathe in, feel the breath moving all the way up into the upper chest. And as you breathe out, use your breath to help you to rotate a little bit deeper into the pose. So try to breathe in through your nose into the back of your throat. This is called Ujjayi Pranayama. And then redirect the air from the back of your throat out through your nose. So your breath creates an echoey sound. It's like Darth Vader. Then notice if your inhale and your exhale are the same length, and if they're not, try to get them so that they are, lengthening one a little bit more, shortening the other. And slowly come back around and we'll go the other way. So we'll take a twist to the left. Take your left hand behind you. Inhale, feel length in your spine first, and with each exhale, feel how you can use the breath to help you to move deeper into the pose. So you're leading with your breastbone, not your head. Never strain in your neck or anywhere, and let your head just gently follow. And as you breathe in again, feel how the breath moves all the way up into the upper part of your chest, near your collarbone in the upper lungs. And as you breathe out, again, see if you can use your breath to help you to just rotate a little bit deeper into the pose. So this yogic breath, the Ujjayi breath, is a heating technique, as are the poses. So they'll begin to create heat in your body, helping you to open, feeling a little bit freer, a little bit less stiff. And slowly come back around to the center. Take your right leg in so your heel comes into that same thigh. And from here, lift your breastbone and square your breastbone now over your straight leg. Inhale here, and as you breathe out, just begin to lengthen out over your leg. If you're stiffer, you'll stay with your leg just working to press toward the floor, feeling a stretch through the back of it. Or if you're more open like Douglas, you can begin to walk out, eventually even grabbing hold of the ball of your foot. Wherever you are in the pose, try not to round into yourself, but rather really feel your heart center begin to open. You should feel this through the backs of your legs and through the right side of your lower back. Keep the breath smooth and even throughout all of the yoga poses, and with each exhale, feel how you can just get a little bit deeper into the pose. As you breathe in, feel how your lungs and your ribs, your lower back expands. And as you breathe out, as this creates space in your body, as everything relaxes back down, you can move into that space. So you're always moving deeper into the pose on the exhale. If your breath becomes short and shallow, or you're not breathing at all, be aware of that and try to go back to this Ujjayi breath. And slowly walk back up. Reach now to grab hold of your big toe if you can. Otherwise, just take your hand wherever it goes. As you breathe in, take the right arm up. And as you breathe out, now we'll begin to come into a side bend, feeling a nice length through your side. So the stretch here is from your hip all the way out through your fingertips. If your arm in the air is bent, really work to take the slack out of that arm, even if you need to come up a little bit out of the pose. As you breathe in, feel how the breath moves into the spaces between your ribs, helping to free up your breath. And as you breathe out, again, with each exhale, feel how you can let go and get a little bit deeper into it. If you feel strain and your breath is not smooth and even, ease a little away so you don't end up locking more stress and tension into your body, but rather you're working to use the breath to release. And inhale, come back up out of the pose, and as you exhale, lower the arm down. So we'll do the same series to the other side. Extend your leg open, and now take the left leg in. Inhale, lift your breastbone, square your breastbone over your straight leg knee, and as you breathe out, either stay here if that's where you are, or begin to move deeper into the pose. So do what you did on the other side so that you begin to create a balance in your body, so that you don't move deeper into the more open side, but rather you work to keep them even. Eventually, the tighter side will even out. So one side is usually more open than the other. If you find this, you're not alone. Feel how the breath begins to release your hamstring, and you feel a nice stretch through the left side of your lower back. And slowly then, walk back up. Reach out to grab hold of your toe or do what you did on the other side, and as you breathe in, take the left arm all the way up. And as you breathe out, we'll begin to now come into the side bend. And as you breathe in, feel how the breath moves again into the whole side of your body, opening up. And as you breathe out, feel how you can just lengthen a little bit more, or maybe move a little bit deeper into the pose. Try to feel as though you're lengthening through the right side of your body as well as through the left. Beautiful, Douglas. And inhale, come all the way back up, and as you exhale, lower your hand down. Take both legs open to the sides, and take your hands behind you now. Open your sit bones again if you need to, and inhale with your breastbone lifting, begin to come forward on the exhale. Again, we're not rounding in this, trying to take our head to the floor, but rather, if anything, you're working to take your breastbone to the floor so that you're lengthening. Maybe your knees will be bent, but feel how the inside of your thighs opens and the back of your legs, they release. As you begin to open out your hips, which we're doing in all of these poses, you'll begin to not only do your yoga practice a little bit more freely, but you'll begin to do everything in your life a little bit more freely. Walk your hands around in front of you if you'd like, otherwise just stay there. And slowly walk back up. Douglas is incredibly open. You may never look like him, but that's fine. It's all relative. Take the soles of your feet together, take your hands behind you, and take your hips closer in. From here, lift your breastbone open through your chest and your heart center, and press your knees down. Take your knees together and straighten your legs out along the floor, just releasing them out a little bit, so just shake them there. Come around now onto all fours, and we'll come into cat pose. So take your hands under your shoulders, spread your fingers wide apart, and take your knees under your hips, hip distance apart. Curl your toes into the floor behind your knees, and as you breathe in, turn your sit bones up, roll your shoulders back and away from your ears, and lengthen through your face. And as you breathe out, point your toes around the lower back, tuck your pelvis and chin all the way in. Again, inhale, turn your sit bones up. Again, synchronize your movement to your breath and your breath to your movement. Exhale and round. Release the tension from your shoulders and the back of your neck. Flow with your breath on your own. As you breathe in, drawing the upper back in, opening your chest. As you breathe out, draw the lower belly all the way in, releasing the lower back. One more time. Inhaling as you arch, and exhaling as you round. From here, one more time, inhale, we'll come into half a cat, and this time as you exhale, press back now, taking your hips right up to the sky, coming into downward facing dog. And first, keep your knees bent, come high up on your toes, and see if you can project your sit bones all the way up to the sky, taking them as high as you can. Use your hands to press firmly down and feel how your spine draws into your body. Feel how your outer armpit rolls open so you create space between your shoulder blades, and then continuing to project your sit bones as high up as you can, slowly begin to straighten your legs. And if you feel stiffness in your hamstrings, breathe into it first with this nice even Ujjayi breath, seeing if you could use the breath to release it. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, bend your knees a little bit. So let your breath be your barometer. If it becomes short and shallow, you've gone too far. If your breath is smooth and even, see if you can move a little bit deeper into the pose, feeling this awareness, and try not to tag it as pain, but rather just awareness or sensation. Eventually, your heels will lower more and more toward the floor, maybe not today. From here, lower down now, coming onto your knees. Take your right leg up between your hands, and take your hands then onto your front knee. Point your back toes back along the floor, and inhale here. As you exhale, just begin to shift your weight forward, coming into a low lunge. And you should begin to feel this through the front of your back thigh. Draw the navel in. This is a mild back bend. If you'd like to come a little bit deeper into it, take your left arm all the way up and open, and feel like you're creating a semicircle almost from your back toes all the way out through your fingertips. Breathe into the upper chest, and as you exhale, see if you can shift your hips down toward the mat, opening the front of your thigh a little more. Inhale, take the arm back up, and as you exhale, lower it back down. Walk your leg around to the side. Keep your knee on the same plane as your foot, and inhale here with your hips and your breastbone squaring forward. Exhale, begin now to come into a side lunge. Your knee can come past your ankle in this, and feel an opening through your inner thighs and your groin. And with each exhale, see if you can shift your weight a little bit more to the side, feeling a release through the inner hip. Keep the breath even. Again, play with this awareness that you feel, trying to relax in the pose. And slowly come back up. Come back to stand on your knees, and we'll do the other side. So take your left foot up and place your hands on your knee. Inhale here, and as you exhale, begin to shift your weight forward, coming into a low lunge. Draw the navel in, feeling length in the lower back, and breathe into the upper chest. Inhale here, and as you exhale, use the breath to help you to become more flexible, opening through the quadricep, keeping the breath even. If you did it on the other side, inhale, sweeping the right arm all the way up and open, coming into a deeper backward bend. Otherwise, stay where you are. Keep your eyes open, gaze at a point, helping you to find your balance here in the pose. Gorgeous, Douglas. Inhale, taking the arm all the way back up, and exhale, lower your hand back down. Shift your hips back, walk your leg around to the side, preparing now for the side lunge. So get your foot in line with your knee. Inhale here. As you exhale, begin to shift now to the side. Try not to let your front knee come in or your hips go back. Breathe here. Again, using the breath to allow your body to open. With each exhale, see if you can move a little bit deeper into the pose with respect for your body. So never force or strain or move aggressively. Use the breath as your guide, helping you to, on the exhale, get a little bit deeper. And inhale, come back up, and as you exhale, come back to stand on your knees. From here, take your arms alongside your body, and we'll come now into a side bend. So inhale, take the right arm all the way up. Lengthen first through your spine, and as you exhale, begin to just move your left hand down the center of your thigh, coming into a stretch from your knee all the way out through your fingertips. Relax your shoulders here. Feel the breath moving into your ribs, into the whole side of your body. And as you exhale again, see if you can just let go. Relaxing, getting a little bit deeper into it. And inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, lower the arm back down. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. So inhale the arm up. Exhale here and begin to come into a side bend. So as your hips shift to the left, reach your fingertips toward the right. You may need to be a little straighter, and that's fine. Slowly use the breath to allow your body to open. And inhale, come all the way back up. Nice. And as you exhale, lower your arm out and around and down. Curl your toes into the floor, take your knees and your feet together, and sit back onto your heels, coming into the toe stretch. This may be an eye-opener for you. If it is, come onto your knees. Point your toes back, sit back on your heels, releasing your toes and your feet in the opposite direction. Sit to the side of your legs and swing them around in front of you now. Again, release them out there if you need to by shaking them along the floor. Reach back, pulling the fleshy part of your butt back. So again, you really feel your sit bones pressing into the floor. And then again, keep your second toe in line with your knee and your hip, keeping your legs straight. Take your hands behind you, lift your breastbone, and begin to press forward from behind. If you're a little bit stiffer, you may stay here in a more seated, upright position. Otherwise, you can begin to press forward. If you're more open, begin to walk your hands around, eventually grabbing hold of your feet. And again, lengthen through the front of your body as well as through the back. Breathe into the backs of your legs. With each exhale, feel how you can relax, feel how your hamstrings begin to lengthen and your body begins to open out, becoming more flexible. With each exhale, feel how you can move a little bit deeper and slowly come back up. Come into a seated position now on your mat, taking one heel in and lining the other heel up with that one. Take the backs of your hands to relax on your knees, taking your thumb and index finger gently to touch, and again, feel length in your spine. Close your eyes here. You should already begin to feel a little bit more free. While yoga today is often identified as a method of stress reduction, releasing tension and stiffness, it can be a powerful tool, opening our minds, our hearts, and our bodies, empowering ourselves and giving us compassion for others. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like more information, log on to the website. My name is Jean, and we'll see you again on Yoga Zone.
Welcome to Yoga Zone. I'm Douglas, and this is Suzanne, another senior yoga teacher. We're here at the Grand Lido San Souci in beautiful Jamaica. In yoga, we use the principle of opposition, 2 points moving away from one another in order to get the most out of stretching. I want you to use this principle today in order to enhance your yoga practice. So let's start. Take your feet forward into Dandasana. The toes are touching. The balls of your toes are touching, and the little toes are drawn back. Already you've begun to apply that principle. You'll feel a nice stretch across the tops of your feet as you press the balls of your feet forward and the little toes back. It's as if you're stepping on the brakes in the gas pedal of your car. Bring your hands back next to your hips and see if you can drop your shoulders back and down. Feel your tailbone moving back in the opposite direction than your heels and the balls of your feet. You'll get a nice stretch in the backs of your legs. 2 points moving away from one another. I'll point out some more points. The sit bones are reaching down into the floor, and the crown of your head is moving up in the opposite direction. You'll notice that the spine gets longer. If you find that your back is rounding, then bend your knees. You can bring your sit bones right on top of one another. As you sit right on top of your sit bones, the back is reaching toward the ceiling. That's it. Using this as a lesson in opposition. Bring your feet up so that your feet are flat on the floor. And then roll down your spine slowly down. Draw your knees into your chest. Hug your knees in. And take the backs of your hands up overhead so that the backs of your hands are touching the floor and your fingers are reaching in the opposite direction. Take the soles of your feet straight up toward the ceiling. Draw your toes back. See if you can keep that principle of opposition still happening in the feet. You can let it go and then bring your mind back to it. Heels are reaching up toward the ceiling. Inhale, and as you're inhaling, send your right heel down toward the floor, away from the reach of your fingers. Inhaling and draw the leg up. Exhaling here. Inhale, let the other leg come all the way down, leading with your heel away from the reach of your fingers. And as you exhale, bring that leg all the way up. Take the other leg down, the first leg. Reach away with your fingers. Exhaling, bring that leg up. Inhaling, reaching. Exhaling, drawing that leg up. Hug your knees into your chest. And bring your feet flat on the floor. You can roll over to your side and come up to sitting. Bring your fingertips behind you so that your fingers are pointing toward your heels. Press down into the floor with your palms and then lift your hips up toward the ceiling. Now, most of the time the shoulders want to collapse in and the breastbone wants to collapse. Lift your breastbone up and move your shoulders back in opposition. Your knees are staying in a 90-degree angle. Knees are right over your ankles and the crown of your head is moving back. If you would like more of a stretch here, you can walk your feet forward into reverse plank. You can stay in four-leg table if this is enough for you. Take another breath here. If you're in reverse plank, you're feeling your toes moving away from the crown of your head. Inhale, and as you exhale, lower your sit bones down to your hands. Draw your heels in. Let your knees soften open. Open up the flesh away from your sit bones. And feel your fingertips now reaching into the sides of the floor. As you inhale, take your right arm up. And as you exhale, reach up and over to the opposite side. You want to keep that right hip down on the floor as you reach up and over with the right fingertips, using your breath, creating a nice stretch in the right side. Lengthening through your spine. Inhale, and as you inhale, come all the way up. And as you exhale, bring that arm down. Let's do the other side. Inhaling, the arm lifts. And as you exhale, reach up and over to the opposite side, looking into that palm. Get a nice stretch. Don't forget the 2 points, moving away from one another. As you inhale, come up. And as you exhale, bring your fingertips down to the floor. Bring your hands in front. Draw your shoulders back. And as you inhale, thread your torso forward onto all fours, or you can swing your legs around and come up. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders. Open your fingers so that they're wide. Open your knees so that they're hip-width apart and directly under your hips. Your toes go into the floor. As you inhale now, take your breastbone up toward the ceiling and your sit bones lift. Exhale, bring your spine into neutral, which means it's just parallel to the floor. Inhale, and as you're inhaling, step back with your right foot. You want your toes on the floor. Now already you're feeling that point of opposition, the head moving away from the reach of your heels. Inhale, and as you exhale, step the other foot back. You're in inclined plank. Usually this posture is for strengthening the body. But see if you can find some stretch here by applying the principle of opposition. Head moves forward as the heels move back. You're watching for any sagging in the body, and you're using that principle to draw 2 points away from one another so that you find stretch. Inhale, and as you exhale, press back to downward facing dog. The tailbone is lifting way up high, and you're sending your heels toward the floor. At the same time, you're lifting your sit bones toward the ceiling, pressing into the floor with your heels and lifting your sit bones at the same time. You'll get a nice, incredible stretch in the backs of your legs. Tailbone is lifting, and you're also reaching into the floor with your palms, letting your head release so that your spine opens with your breath. You want to fulfill the posture, this downward facing dog, with your breath. Opening up. As you inhale, look up between your hands. And as you exhale, walk your feet to your hands so that your toes touch and your ankles are slightly apart. Forward bending. Now, if you're as stretched as Suzanne, you can bring your fingertips back toward your toes. Lay your belly against your thighs and your forehead against your shins. Your heels are pressing down into the floor as your tailbone lifts. If you're not as stretched as that, you can bring your hands to your shins and lift your tailbone at the same time. As you inhale, rise to your fingertips, and as you exhale, fold all the way down. Let's come back with your right foot. Just step back. Feel the outer rim of your foot pressed into the floor. All 5 toes pressed into the floor as you feel the inner arch lifting. Your front knee comes right over your ankle so that you feel those 2 points moving away from one another, opening and softening the inner thighs open. Bring your hands to your hips, feeling the crease line in your hips absolutely level on both sides. Now watch out, is your tailbone moving too far back, or is it moving too far forward? See if you can find a nice middle ground there as the tailbone drops directly down toward the floor, and in opposition to that, the crown of your head is moving up toward your ceiling. Soften your shoulders down as you turn your torso to the side, and then raise your arms up as you feel your shoulders dropping down. Fingers are reaching forward. The front fingers are reaching forward to the front of your room, and the back fingers are reaching back to the back of your room. This is a posture in which you can feel yourself radiating in all directions, up and down and side to side. And you're fulfilling that posture with your breath. I want you to take nice, long, deep breaths so that it's not just a holding posture, but you're actually moving and stretching in all directions. Take another breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, step that back foot forward so that your toes touch. Now keep your knees bent. You're sitting as if you're sitting on a little chair. Bring your fingers down. Draw your shoulders back. Now, most times in bound chair, we're thinking of it as a strengthening posture. But let's see if we can find some stretch here by using that principle. The shoulders generally want to go forward with the reach of your fingers, but draw your shoulders back in opposition to the reach of your fingers. That's it. Use your breath. Sit bones are moving back. As your knees move down toward the floor, you're finding length through the thighs. Inhaling, exhale right here. As you inhale, draw your hands into your heart. Exhale. Inhale, step back with your other foot. A nice, comfortable step back. Again, the outer part of your foot is rooted into the floor as you feel the inner arch lifting, all 5 toes pressed in. You feel a nice strength through that back leg. Move your knee forward, not beyond the ankle, but just right over your ankle as you soften your toes into the floor. Bring your hands to your hips, feeling your hips nice and square. Find out what your tailbone's doing. Is it too far back or too far forward? Make sure it's dropping down to the floor like a weight is anchored onto your tailbone, helping it to drop down. And you feel the crown of your head moving in the opposite direction. Soften your shoulders down and then raise your arms up so that your fingers reach in 2 different directions. Proud warrior. Stay for 2 breaths. Coaxing the shoulders down. That's beautiful, Suzanne. Inhale. And exhale, bring your hands right in front of your heart. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, bring that back foot up so that the toes touch and the ankles are slightly apart. Bring your fingertips down so that they point down toward the floor. Draw your shoulders back. Remember, this is bound chair. It's usually a very tight, constricted posture. But as you use the principle of opposition, see if you can open it up a bit. Going to raise the hands up as you're breathing. Slowly, don't let your shoulders creep forward, but keep them back. You may only be able to go to here with that principle in mind. But if you can go on like Suzanne, her shoulders are pressing down as she's reaching up to the ceiling with her fingers, opening way up. It's nice. Inhale, and as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. And as you exhale, dive down. Your heels move deeper into the floor now as your tailbone and sit bones reach up toward the ceiling, opening up the backs of your legs, stretching, getting the most out of your stretch as you move 2 points away from one another. Let your head drop down. Rise to your fingertips as you inhale. Bend your knees if you need to. And as you exhale, fold down, lay your belly right against your thighs and let your head release. Open your arms out to the side, feeling your hands reaching to the sides of your room, and draw all the way up to standing. Palms touch, feet press down as your fingers reach to the ceiling, and as you exhale, bring your hands right in front of your heart. Your head lifts, your heels press down. Beautiful. Come to sitting right on your mat with your legs open. Now, you can start with your knees bent and open up the flesh away from your sit bones. We're coming to sitting fan. Feel the opposition in your toes. The knees are up, and see if you can feel the sit bones reaching down at the same time that your knees are up. Bring your right hand onto the floor with your elbow onto the floor. And as you inhale, lift your left arm up toward the ceiling. Inhaling here, and as you exhale, you can coax your torso over to your right side. Watch out here, that hip wants to jut up a little bit. See if you can keep it down in opposition to the reaching of your fingers. Those of you that have a greater stretch here, you can send your heels out a little bit more and even place that right hand underneath your left thigh. Inhaling all the way up, and as you exhale, bring that palm down onto the floor. Let's do the other side. Inhaling, the arm goes up, and as you exhale, reach up and over. You notice Suzanne is showing the full expression of the posture. Both heels are reaching in opposite directions with her legs nice and long. You can place that left hand underneath your thigh and begin to twist the spine open even more. Beautiful, Suzanne. If your knees are bent and your torso's almost upright, that's fine. As you inhale, come all the way up to sitting. Bring that hand down as you exhale. Fingertips reach in front of you. Draw your shoulders back as you send your fingertips forward. Inhaling. And as you exhale, walk your hands forward so that your torso moves forward. Tailbone reaching back, the crown of your head moving forward in the opposite direction. If your knees are bent here in sitting fan, that's absolutely fine. Keep working those sit bones down. Come up to sitting. Come to Dandasana with your legs right in front of you. You want the balls of your feet touching, the little toes of your feet drawn back. Open up the flesh away from your sit bones so that you feel your sit bones rooted into the floor. Pressing through the balls of your feet and through your heels, and in opposition, move your tailbone back. Bring your palms next to your hips, soften your shoulders down, feel your breastbone lifting in the pressure against the pressure down of your palms, shoulders dropping. Tailbone rooting into the floor and the crown of your head lifting toward your ceiling. Inhale here, and as you exhale, walk your hands forward into forward bending. Now if you need to, you can bend your knees. As you lay your belly right against your thighs. Feel your tailbone reaching back and the crown of your head moving forward. 2 points moving away from one another. Use your breath. As you inhale, come all the way up and bring your heels into your groin, one heel in front of the next. Let the backs of your hands rest on your knees with your thumbs touching your forefingers. Soften your muscles. Let the principle work through your body. Feel your breath. Now we've been working on the principle of opposition, 2 points moving away from one another so that you can get the most out of your stretching. You know the principle now. I want you to take that principle into every yoga class that you attend to deepen your own practice. Thank you for practicing with us at Yoga Zone. If you need more information, log on to the website. My name is Douglas. Join us again at Yoga Zone. Namaste.